The truth occurs. The truth occurs. The truth occurs.
Irene Gravenhorst is somebody that fought and won because they were, from what I gathered from her videos, after her house. And she managed to turn bailiffs and coming with the locks to change the doors, and cops coming to her door asking her to literally leave, and she did not leave. And ultimately won the battle, and now has Squeamish Nation, Squamish Nation.
Squeamish Nation.
I'm a stoner. I'm stoner's lip.
She's a stoner.
And if anyone presents a warrant to you, always make sure that it is signed by a judge or it's not valid, right? It has to have the live signature of a judge.
This is the part I get confused about, because Madame Guy, on the other hand, says basically you have no jurisdiction over me, and that's her bottom line. That's all you need to know.
But she totally deregistered herself. Okay, but here are some good sovereigns that we can maybe learn from. Well, there's Rob Menard. He deregistered himself as well. Okay, there's Madame Guy, who did it like it's like a philosophical, moral thing for her. She totally deregistered. Then there's Brandon Adams, right, Karen? Creditors in Commerce. There's also Druanna on YouTube.
Jack Smith, Gordon Hall.
She's got a lot of stuff figured out.
May I add one more thing? And this is just from David Icke, of all people, who says in his lectures that he's doing, all over the world this last year, that when the bank comes for your house, if 100,000 people say, no, I am not leaving my house, the bank created the situation that caused unemployment, that caused me to lose my house, and now I got to give my house back to you, the bankers. Fuck you. I'm staying in my house. If everybody did that, that's
Wait a minute.
That's as free man as you get, without necessarily.
That just happened to.
It's got to. More people have to just.
The guy, isn't that like what happened to that guy you were talking about last night?
Don't leave your house.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, David Lindsay, he's a Canadian from BC, who I believe he lost his house, and somewhere in the court proceedings, he was denying that he was a person. He ended up losing his house and losing that case. But then I believe he's then suing the Crown, or he's taking it back to them. He fought them for 4 years about the word person, and that they were criminal in taking away his house. Now he's been on 4 years of appeal on this, and he's found a lot of really good documentation from the 40s and the 20s about the definition of person, written up by an actual judge, talking about the definition of person is being told to the people like it's a general use term, but by all means it's a law term that they're using to get us to all consent to do all of this commerce without even knowing that we're doing commerce. The court system is just commerce. It's contract law.
Okay, but I still don't really understand how to put all this stuff into practice. We got David Lindsay trying to get his house, and people trying to do a lot of things, but individually, who would you recommend as sources of information on sovereignty? Okay, you said Irene Gravenhorst.
Irene Gravenhorst is on YouTube, and her last name is spelled Gravenhurst. Her first name is Irene. Google that.
Well, I can put a tag.
And Google Madame. Okay. And Madame Guy's book, Escape from Prison, is very short and concise, but it gives you a step-by-step of what she did, which is a good example.
Yeah. Okay, I would recommend Madame Guy.
Mary Croft.
Formerly known as Guylaine Longueuil. Okay, you say?
Mary
Whoops.
Croft,
Hold on a second.
and she wrote a great paper called How I Clobbered Every Bureaucratic Cash Confiscatory Agency Known to Man. And that's a good one. The PDF is online. I just love the title.
Who do you recommend, Bridget? Source of information on sovereignty.
On sovereignty? Paul.
Paul?
Just Paul. He doesn't have a last name.
Personal friend. Who do you recommend?
There's also Freeman Mark from Toronto, who does a good job at dissecting the information.
Yeah, but where can you find him?
Where can you find him? He's on Support Local Scene.
Support Local Scene, right? It's like that's the YouTube channel.
Yes, I think that's the YouTube channel.
I think the starting point is to think free. And the first thing, and the second thing is maybe bit by bit. First thing you can do is maybe if you make money cash, obviously you don't declare it. You can not renew your driver's license the next time it comes around. You can go step by step. In fact, I'm actually quoting that in
It's the only way to get back at the banks for charging all the usury that's been going on. It's the interest on money that's created the problem worldwide on everything. The only reason why this free man commerce stuff is going to come up is because we need to balance out the whole system again, because it's totally corrupt and heading in the wrong direction.
I agree.
People are starving. There's over 1 billion people starving on the planet now.
And it is not an armed revolution, which is what we don't want. That's the last thing we want, because that's the chaos of the plan that they have. Therefore, if we, like the New World Order is putting out in the media, that maybe 9/11 was an inside job, or they need to have an investigation, and I think that the more people get angry and incited, the more that riles people up. That's what they want, and they'll only give you what they want you to know.
They want
media.
fighting for people, fighting for
we
peace
have
is
to-
like fucking for virginity.
Okay, see, the idea here is that if you're, you could have an armed revolution or a protest or rebellion, whatever you're doing. The thing is, no armed revolution. No revolution, no conflict whatsoever. See, as long as you're doing that, you're still a sheep. You're just a black sheep, and you're still recognizing the authority of the so-called powers that be as actually being those powers that be, which they're not. They're only those powers by consent. The thing is that we have so much gone into mindset that we're subject, we're chattel, we're slaves, and we're being repressed, and what we have to do is push back. When really we can just actually take back our own sovereignty in various ways. And that's how you disempower them. Because the only reason they have power over you is because you've given up your own power. So we are the powers that be. Question is there a universal formula for achieving your sovereignty as in a legal procedure or something?
Understanding is paramount. You need to understand, even if you were to understand everything in the world, you still can't understand for somebody else. You can't help somebody else. So the one thing that makes us all equal is that we can only stand up for ourselves. Knowledge is power. You got to learn all this stuff. You have to have an understanding of what's really going on to justify.
But what he's saying is that there is no universal formula, because it comes from inside. It comes from you realizing that you're a sovereign, living being with the soul. And so it comes from this philosophical point of view, but actually it extends into a lot of things, even what we call the legal system, or the matrix, because this is all real. It's not just some loophole that somebody found. The whole thing is based on this illusion. So that's why he's saying there's not like one formula, like here, this is what you do. You fill out these papers, you declare this claim of right, you do this, you do that, you say this to the cop. Because the more important thing is that you have to, from the inside, realize that you're not subject to their authority unless you do it by consent. So that's fundamentally important.
Offer and acceptance.
Yes, the understanding Matt was referring to is A, of course, do your homework. B, homework. Just read what you can, find what you can. It'll come to you.
Don't hire a lawyer.
The nature of the universe. And secondly, the moment a situation occurs that you're able to take that step, i.e. you get a ticket and you decide not to pay it, that's when you will get to practice what you've learned. And then the universal formula that I think does bottom out to for most people is eventually you do send as the agreement form to the government, and you do say, I am no longer this capitalized letter name. So that I think is the one universal thing. It's just that whole understanding process and what will happen to you individually will be your guide, and from there you learn and then make the process step by step. I have my driver's license because I'm still in the system. I haven't taken that sovereign step. Well, I'm in the understanding stage and learning. However, it is my goal to not get a driver's license again and to drive freely or travel freely. And the reason is because that's the money that we're talking about that funnels up to the elitists. These tickets, these fines, this $200, $300 cost for a license, plus insurance, plus registration, plus parking tickets.
Yeah, every year you have to get your license every year.
Every year. And
why? Like you forgot how to drive from last year?
Exactly. The point is
It's just money.
the money. I'm thinking that
Usury.
first thing to do, you can still have all your ID and work in cash with people. You can render services and take services for cash and no taxes. That I think is the start. And do your homework and then get out of the system bit by bit. And universally, yes, write that letter. I'm no longer whatever it is, I don't know the words, but I'm not your straw man anymore. Yeah.
The